Good morning, everybody. This is Gene from NYC, and I'm back with another Mortal Kombat video. But as you can see, I'm using a different video prop. I actually, quite literally, dug through a lot of my old gaming stuff to bring out the classics, right? To bring out the classics, Genesis MK2 and Genesis Mortal Kombat. Because see, when I was a kid, I was hardcore. I didn't do that Super NES, we don't have the blood crap. Okay, I still remember the old school code to actually unlock the blood option in the original Mortal Kombat. You had to go to options. You had to basically spell out the word Dullard. So it was down, up, A, left, left, A, right, down. Right, DULLARD. So it was down, up, left, left, A, right, down, if I remember correctly. Say it one more time. Down, up, left, left, A, right, down. I believe that's how it went. So, there's a reason why I busted out these old games. I busted out the classics for this one. Because the interface developer, the UI developer, user interface, I should say, the user interface developer for Netherrealm Studios, I'm a Mr. Daanish. I'm not quite sure how you say his first name, but I believe it's Mr. Daanish Syed, said on his Twitter, in response to an article that was talking about the Jax ending controversy, that those who are complaining about Jax's ending, who are calling it racist, are not fans, to not refer to those people as fans. Here's my message as a long-time, old-school, OG fan, whose very first MK game was Mortal Kombat 3. That was the first one I ever actually played. I ended up getting these games much later. When I was 18, I came into a little bit of money, and I went back, and I hunted these games down, and I bought them. And I still had a functioning Genesis at the time, so I played them, because it meant that much to me, to have the original series. Although I had Trilogy at that point, and I played 4, and all these other games by that point. I think by the time I was 18, I think Deadly Alliance had come out, was about to come out. So still, I have played, the 3 in Trilogy and 4, and quite possibly Deadly Alliance at that point, but still, it meant so much to me to have these games that I went hunting around, looking around to thrift shops and whatnot, and picked these up, and then played them on a Genesis. I still have a Genesis, it's collecting dust somewhere, but I still have a Genesis somewhere in all of my old, I have like a literal drawer of just like old gaming stuff. I got like Eternal Champion, Streets of Rage, all old school stuff that's just collecting dust, cause I can't use it, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it. I'm a gamer. I'm a fan. Admittedly old school. I'll be the first to admit it, but I am a fan. And Mr. Syed, you have absolutely no right to tell anybody how to fan, especially when it's in response to criticism of an ending that Netherrealm should have known, should have realized, would be incredibly controversial and divisive among the fan base. You see, I am not, how do I put it? I am not the type of fan, and I think many of the critics are not the type of fan that Mr. Syed likes, which is the sycophant, which is the person who will take any and everything that Netherrealm throws at them, right, and just eat it up. I'm not that fan. I am not a fan that puts my thinking capabilities aside, right, to enjoy something. I am not the type of fan that is going to bow down and lick any franchise's boots and just keep picking up a game or picking up a franchise just because it's the newest one in the series. Are there some fans like that? Yeah. There are many fans like that, sadly, who will pick up a game regardless of what they personally feel about it, regardless of whether or not they agree with its message, with the direction it's going in, just because it's that game, right? And that was the whole point of the trailer. If you look at the trailer, the trailer that has the movie theme, everybody's going, I feel like a kid again, take my money. Look, as much as I enjoyed the trailer, no, Netherrealm, no, Mr. Syed, I'm not going to give you 1 red cent. This half-breed redskin is not giving you 1 damned red cent. Why? Because I refuse to reward a company for going in a direction that I feel violates their artistic integrity. Mortal Kombat used to be the franchise that spit in the face of everything, that tore the envelope apart and then some, that reveled in how it garnered controversy. And now, instead of having parent groups trying to shut you down, you have your own fans, at least your more classic fans, rallying against you because you want to put divisive politics, whether it be Jax's ending, or whether it be things like Shao Kahn saying, "Let's us make Outworld great again." You want to throw in all these real-world political references even when they make absolutely no sense. You keep trying to justify Jax's ending, which is a villain's ending. Okay, storytelling tropes have long established that when a mortal man, when a regular person, tries to recreate the world in their own image with no concern and no consideration for how that will impact others, that it's the villainous thing to do. Jax rewriting history, right? Just because he did it, how do I put it? Just because a black man is rewriting history does not make it right. It doesn't make it non-villainous. It's not suddenly a heroic act. Okay? You want to know what the heroic endings in the game were? Where Johnny Cage, right, tries to bypass the maturation process, right, and finds that if he does that, he'll become a terrible father to his daughter. And because he loves his family so much, he decides that he's going to let things happen as they may, despite the fact that that means a lot of hardship. He realizes that he has to grow. He has to literally grow up and become the older Johnny so that he can be a good father to his daughter. Right? That is a heroic ending. Jackie preventing Jax from losing his arms to Ermac, and by that action altering her own timeline, the timeline that basically leads to her being born, because without Jax losing his arms, Jax never goes into rehab, never meets his wife, Jackie's never made. Jackie erases herself from existence so her father will not suffer that the physical pain and tragedy of losing his arms to Ermac. That is a heroic ending. You know what's not a heroic ending? Reshaping the world in your own image. You know what's not a heroic ending? Frost ending, where she takes over the Lin Kuei and, like Jax, reshapes them in her own image. It's a villainous thing to do. You don't justify it and you don't change it by suddenly saying, oh, it's a proud American military black man doing it, so it's okay. No, it's not. How do we know that Sonya even still exists in this ending of Jax's brave new world, his perfect black utopia, where apparently no other cultures exist, or at least no other cultures are dominant? So we have no idea if Lu exists, we have no idea if Sonya exists, we have no idea if Nightwolf exists, if any other person or the cultures they come from exist in Jax's brave new world. And on top of that, right, again, what happened to Sonya? What happened to Kano? Did he ever bring Kano to justice? Hell, was Kano even born in this timeline? There are so many unanswered questions. And the fact that you would try to shut down criticism of poor writing and giving a heroic character a villainous ending when people point out, hey, that actually A, is not Jax's character, and B, makes absolutely no sense. You try to say that they are not fans. No. It's not that people like myself who criticize this and who are vocal about it are not fans. It's that we are not the sycophant fans that you want. We are not the sheep who will keep our lips shut and keep our opinions to ourselves. No. I am not a fan like that for anything. Okay? And I pray to God that I never will be. So, Mr. Syed, you and Steve Baran and anybody else at Netherrealm who feels that alienating your core fan base, right, is a smart business move can, how do I say this respectfully? Go kick rocks. Because you won't be seeing one red dime, one red cent from me. So that's all I have to say about that. You want to insult me? Fine. You don't get my money. That simple. I think even if I was open to the reboot and interested, I would not pick up this game. Because again, if you're going to say trash like that, I'm not going to give you my money. Now, I'm just one person, just one woman from New York City, but I do think that there are others who think like me and who might choose to do the same thing. You're heading down a slippery slope, Netherrealm. You're losing your core fan base because you are actively pushing them away with changes like this, like what you did to the women, and endings like with what you did with Jax, and then allowing people who work for you, like Mr. Syed, to say divisive things like this, to try to tell a certain subsection of your fans how to fan, and saying, oh, they're not real fans if they don't agree with you. No. Having an opinion does not mean they're not a fan. It means they still think for themselves. And then there's the possibility. I'll say possibility because I haven't really looked into it yet, but there are many saying that the Kano ending is supposed to be a dig at older fans who are fans of the skimpier female costumes. So if that is true, Netherrealm, if it is true that the Kano ending with Cassie fighting some other blonde chick, which may or may not be her own daughter, if that was supposed to be a dig at fans just because older fans, happen to like the sexier costumes, then guess what? Not only did you again insult your core fan base, you pretty much insulted the entire fighting game genre, because all fighting games feature attractive women in somewhat risque clothing. You're not going to find a fighting game that doesn't. And let me remind you, since you want to throw shade on the entire fighting game industry, that you're not the first fighting game, and Sonya is not the queen of not queen. Sonya is not the first lady of fighting games. The first lady of fighting games is Chun-Li from Street Fighter. So before you throw shade, think about where that shade is going to fall, where that shadow is going to land. Okay? As the song says, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Anyway, that's just a quick rant video directed at one Daanish Syed of Netherrealm Studios. And if he wants to say something to me, he can come to my YouTube channel and say it in the comments. So anyhow, let me know what you think. If you like it, hate it, think I'm crazy, think I'm not. I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.